Welcome to the Filmcast review of Train Dreams, which is streaming right now on Netflix. I'm going to read the plot summary from IMDb. Based on Dennis Johnston's beloved novella, Train Dreams is the moving portrait of Robert Grenier, a logger and railroad worker who leads a life of unexpected depth and beauty in the rapidly changing America of the early 20th century. End quote. Now, Devindra Hardwar, I believe you and I are both big fans of Clint Bentley's last movie, Sing Sing.
Sing Sing. Well, he wrote Sing Sing. Yeah.
Didn't direct it.
Did not direct it, but yes, he wrote Sing Sing.
He directed Jockey, which I think you talked about with the.
I have not seen Jockey, but I heard great things. Okay. But yes, Sing Sing, lovely, moving, powerful film. Now he's here to direct Train Dreams to much acclaim. Devindra Hardwar, what did you think of this film?
This movie wrecked me, much like a train would, I suppose. This is my favorite type of filmmaking. You know, it is a beautiful, poetic story about the life of one man, him trying to consider and think about his place in the world, while also it's covering so many things. It's like trying to make sense of awe, trying to make sense of the wonder of the world. The world is so vast and so much. We are so tiny. We are so insignificant in the face of nature and its power. But also we leave things behind. Like we leave a legacy behind too. Like it's juggling all those concepts with just some incredible filmmaking. There's like people are saying it's very Terrence Malick-y. I'd say it's a lot more like David Lowery stuff, which I keep bringing up, but I love his like beautiful filmmaking where it's just like shows you beautifully composed images. Oftentimes you're left to figure out like what the heck is going on here. But no, I freaking love this movie. And talking about interesting faces, I've always thought Joel Edgerton has had an interesting face, but what is really compelling about him is he has a hard face, tough guy face, soft eyes. His eyes are always like, and this is a movie where he's not a guy who says very much. We go long stretches with this guy saying nothing, but it's kind of all in his eyes of him like observing the world and trying to think about things, like trying to like make sense of the wrongs of the world too, and the regret that he's living with and the sort of like awful things that ends up happening to him, but things like that happen to everybody. That's life. It's him silently trying to comprehend the greatness of the world. And I think few actors can do this as well as Joel Edgerton. So yeah, I love this movie. Great performances. Felicity Jones also ends up being his wife in this too. Like she just has great energy. They have great chemistry together. Catch the Star Wars joke there. They're both we're in Star Wars. I love this movie. I will probably never watch this movie again. This is and that's happened several times this week. Like movies that hit me like Grave of the Fireflies, like, man, what a profound and moving experience. Keep this away from me. No, not again. Not for a very long time. But yeah, what a beautiful experience.
Jeff Kanata, very curious what you thought of Train Dreams.
Well, Dave, I guess you could say what I thought of Train Dreams is best summed up in the form of a limerick. Without a bombastic climax, this movie just simply unpacks a life full of duty and reticent beauty that rolls slow and sad down the tracks.
Nice, Jeff.
I hate with the passion of 1,000 suns.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
This proclivity of some filmmakers to use the 3:2 aspect ratio.
Oh,
okay.
I hate it.
Okay.
Every single other thing about this movie, I love. Every other thing about this movie, I love. But it is a crime that a movie this sumptuous, this beautiful, this spectacular, this movie where you want to just fall into every frame and sort of sit there in the woods with Joel Edgerton. It has these incredible, the light in this movie, the way things play, it's just so beautiful. I want it in full wide frame, man. Let me be in that place. Let it wrap itself around me. I understand we want it to look like old photos from that period. I get it. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. It doesn't make the movie better. It doesn't make the movie better. This movie is so beautiful. And I love this movie so much. Why can't it be full frame? Okay, enough of that.
I hear you, Jeff. Yeah.
I hate it. It doesn't add anything. It feels pretentious. It feels like a thing we can do that we're gonna do just because we can do it. That makes it look a little different.
Can I give you one aesthetic reason for it? First of all, not many people are going to be seeing this on like big screens, unfortunately. So that's a shame.
Everybody has a widescreen TV.
Yeah, everyone has a widescreen TV.
Whoever's going to be watching this on actual TV, what are those? No, people are watching this on mobile devices on their freaking phones, and that sucks. That breaks my heart.
That's also wide.
This thing should have had like a full scale, like big theatrical, run. Whenever a movie like this happens and they go square, a lot of indie filmmakers do it. It's because like they want that tall aspect ratio. And this is a movie very much about him versus trees, him versus these sort of like how insignificant he is versus these tall trees. A lot of directors have said like that because it's square, it forces you to look at that perspective more than the overall wide perspective. But I hear you, Jeff. I have a big screen. And I want to use it all. Yeah.
And let me just say, beautifully said, Devindra, and obviously your feelings are valid in how you prefer to watch movies, Jeff. I will just say he used this aspect ratio very purposefully. Like
I don't doubt that.
It was clear that it was composed. Like each of the shots was composed with 4:3 in mind.
I don't think it was an accident. Yeah. I'm not claiming that.
No, I know, but I'm just saying like. I appreciated the beauty of what he was trying to accomplish with this aspect ratio. It is not the same, it doesn't feel the same as what you can do with a widescreen aspect ratio, but it has its own feel. And I'm sorry that was not something that
I watched this in my home theater on my projector by myself.
Yeah, better than most people will ever see this movie.
Yes, true. But I wanted to fall into this. Okay, so enough of that rant, because that is literally the only negative I have to say about this movie, because this is a movie that, like Devindra, I adore. And I have a lot to say in spoilers, but I will say that I know you guys have heard me say many times over the years that I think the greatest villain to ever be dramatized in the history of any medium is time. Right? Time, that hard-hearted arbitrator time, the Shakespeare quote that I always return to, time is undefeated, right? And this is a movie about the passage of time. And certainly as I get older in my life and have children and see time pass and in the blink of an eye in their lives and in my own, it resonates with me. And the way this movie expresses the passage of time is so beautiful. And it positions itself in this real inflection point in American culture and in the world, timeline, between the sort of technological advances, the industrial age, and like the arrival of trains and the bridging of the country, connecting wide swaths of land, and the men mostly that did it, and the families that they had that were with them along the way. And then the like bridging that into a much more metropolitan lifestyle that the world was able to get to because of trains. I just found it all to be so powerful and so beautiful. And it is a sumptuous movie. It's a slow movie. It doesn't do big things, but it's a mood piece. It's a tone piece, and I am there for it. It is like, it's romantic with a capital R. It's also small r romantic, but for me, the capital R romance of, like Walden, right? Like it's just being in nature, communing with nature, being out in a place with a trickling stream, laying on a bed of grass and having the sun set in the tree. It's just like, that to me is so transportive and beautiful. And I just love and that's why I wanted it to envelop me. I wanted the whole screen to be taken up with that great imagery. Also, it reminds me of, there's a great old Saturday Night Live sketch from the 90s. I think Garth Brooks was the host, which will set it in a very specific time period. There's a sketch called "Who's More Grizzled," and it had Robert Duvall and Garth Brooks playing a "Who's More Grizzled." And I think Joel Edgerton could enter the "Who's More Grizzled" competition in this movie. And I just loved like Bill Macy in this movie deserves a Best Supporting Actor nom, I think, for this. He's incredible. The character that he comes up with here, the manner of speech, the way that it's so good. And just these grizzled men out there doing hard labor, thankless, but like this simple life I found to be so romantic and so beautiful. I adore this movie.
I really, really like this movie. I don't know that I fully loved it, but I may come to love it. I think this is kind of one of those movies. There's been a couple this year that is, what if a guy, right? Like, that's the whole movie. There's nothing, some stuff happens that's somewhat notable in this guy's life. But otherwise, it's just like he is, the averageness of him, I think, is what this movie is trying to say something about.
Can I actually disagree with that? I don't think it's what if a guy. I think it's what if a time. I think this guy is just an example of a guy in this time. And there are specific things that happen to him. Well, but I think this is an expression of a time.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't agree. Because I think that this guy and what he goes through can be applied to anyone in many different times, right? I know there's like things that are really specific to.
There are many things specific about him,
but it's about, in my opinion, what happens when huge transitions and upheavals happen in society, and you, as somebody in that time, aren't necessarily keeping up with it, right? And that happens in every generation. I made a joke earlier in the podcast about this. Another title for this movie could be "No Country for Old Men," and I think that is valid. Like, I think it's about how things often evolve past the point where you feel like you're a part of them, or you are, along with the wave, and so on.
Well, I would argue, though, in this movie, there's no country for even the young man.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. But no country for men in general, like no country for humans is what it's really getting for. I'll push back a little though, Dave, because it's not just a guy. Like, this guy is a very specific poetic soul. He's an orphan, abandoned. He doesn't know where he came from. He just kind of like popped up in this world. He has no sense of beginning. He's always trying to make sense of the world. And I don't know if everybody has that poetic spirit. I think a lot of people try to, but in this movie, the way it's portrayed is like he's kind of an outcast. Everybody thinks even before really bad things happen to him, he's a little weird. He's a little like apart from the crowd, and that's what makes him interesting. Because
I don't agree, but it's okay. Like, I'm glad you guys had that experience, and I just don't feel the same way. I mean, I do.
He's expressing poetry that not many people are, in like an appreciation of the world that not many people are in this film.
Explicitly though, like,
yes, I love this river. I love just being here. Sure. I love being in the, like, he is an awareness of where he is and his place in the world. And I think most people just go like, I'm just cutting wood, man. I'm just chopping trees down. And people like, it's that sense of like, that's the hard R, or the big R romanticism to me, is like he is constantly thinking about this world and his place in it. And that's what's really compelling. It's not just some dude to me.
Interesting. I mean, I think that this movie reminds me a little bit of Tree of Life. And certainly. I think what this movie and that movie have in common, the Tree of Life broadened the aperture all the way to like the dinosaurs and the formation of galaxies. And it's like, in this vast firmament, what is the significance of this one family? Right? Like, who gives a shit about this one family? And I think that's something very similar to what this movie does, which is like, in the in the realm of nature where there's been glaciers and volcanoes and all this shit, and the landscape is vastly changing and being modified before our very eyes, and society is transforming. What is the significance of this one life, which in my opinion serves as a stand-in for many people's lives? And not
I think the stand-in is, it's enough. Right, it's enough to be alive. It's enough to bear witness.
It is this guy. It is this guy in his ordinariness that is to experience this guy in his ordinariness. You know, the movie is trying to say is like there is some transcendent element to that, right? So that's why I think it's just a guy. You know, what if? But there's other movies this year that are like that. The Life of Chuck, by the way, another kind of example of that kind of movie that came out this year.
Well, he had certain proclivities. He had things he enjoyed.
Yeah, some he was
things he dedicated his life to.
Sure,
you know, so, very defining characteristics.
Oh yeah,
of that
I mean,
man.
Devindra was a huge fan of what he dedicated his life to. But anyway, so I, in that regard, I think there's a lot to like about this movie. It's as you guys say, beautifully done. So transportive, makes you believe that you are back in this time period. The casting is incredible. Some of the period details, often just in the background, are amazing. I really, really liked it. I like this movie a lot. I don't know that I loved it. I think because of I feel like thematically, I feel like I understand what this movie is trying to say, or I feel like I've seen this kind of thing before, and it is not as novel to me as I wish it were. But overall, I would feel very comfortable recommending this film. And I'm also going to say this: the movie is a lot sadder than I thought the title.
It's deeply sad. It is so deeply sad. That's what really got me.
Yeah, we can get into.
I don't think it's a very good title, but
I don't think it's a good title at all. It's a terrible title.
Yeah.
Like I like Jeff, I didn't watch the trailer, and I went into this cold, and I'm like, oh, Train Dreams. It's very kind of like wistful and evocative, and I'm like, oh, like I kind of have a sense it's about this guy who's going to be like yearning and striving, and really, it doesn't feel like anything that I think the title would evoke. Personally,
he does actually have dreams about trains.
He does.
Like,
I know
that does exist.
I was gonna do this. I was gonna do this Simpsons meme where it's like I can think of two things wrong with that title, but that's not true. Like he does actually have
they
dreams
do
about
exist.
trains, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's not the kind of dreams that I thought he would have. Okay,
that was the name of the novella, and I think they just kind of stuck with it because it is vaguely like people are aware of that. It has brand recognition, so you can't change it, unfortunately.
But I loved how literary it is too. There's a voiceover that I just think is exquisite, and it's the language of the movie. Although it is a movie about quietude, it is also has just exquisite language, and I think that is you can often feel when a movie has been adapted from a book, and sometimes that feeling is less than positive. And I think for me, this one is extremely positive. Like I loved how much it felt like I was experiencing language and sort of a literary look at this time and this life.
Yeah. Let's get to spoilers for Train Dreams starting right now. I mentioned The Life of Chuck earlier. I do want to read partially an excerpt from this review that Mike Flanagan wrote about Train Dreams. Mike Flanagan is on Letterboxd, and he wrote about Train Dreams, quote, "This is a delicate story about a man clinging to a small corner of the world as it turns and turns beneath him. The landscape changes, technology advances, time moves along, and at some point, we realize we aren't at the front of the wave, but behind it. The movie is quiet and gentle even in its violence. It takes the time to point out that forest valleys were once under thousands of feet of ice, the landscape carved by receding glaciers, growing green with now ancient trees, only to be burned to ash and grow again. Against that enormity, both of time and nature, human lives are lived, lost, and forgotten, and the great machine lurches on. We're here too briefly to understand it." End quote. Anyway.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful.
And Mike Flanagan has a way with words, turns out. Also.
Yeah, he's a very, very good writer. But I mean, I'll just start this spoiler section by saying, wow, did not expect the movie to just kill off.
It's so sad.
His wife and child.
I had just seen Rental Family. I was like, okay, I did not expect to cry during Rental Family. Then I saw Hamnet, which is, brutal exploration of grief as well. And this movie feels like it is. It's just so sad because it's so it's just nature, right? There's no rhyme or reason. It's senseless and it's unlucky.
I think the most powerful part of it is how much is left unresolved. Like in real life, you don't get the answers. You don't get the closure. You don't get to bury the person sometimes.
And what you get is the grief that you live with and sit with. And I should have been there. Yeah. I should have been there. Like he already had a sense that he shouldn't be traveling so much for work. And he's like, if he was there, at least they would have been together. Maybe they could have been saved. Like, you have to live with that for the rest of your life. That's what this movie is ultimately about. And that's what crushed me, right? He makes like one friend. He has like the shopkeep friend. I love their sort of like interactions, but he meets the woman who is she's at the Forest Watch building, and like they have a great conversation because they recognize each other in the grief that they're living through as well. Like, he didn't quite clock it, but that turns out to be the thing that they're both trying to wrestle with. As you get older, that's it. That's life. Like, you lose so many people and it's often unfair and you just have to keep going. That's what really wrecked me in this movie.
Yeah. I loved that the movie did not fall into convention, because as soon as we were introduced to that forest ranger woman, I'm like, here we go. Second chance at love. Here's what we're going. Here's the cliche. We're going to make a rom-com out of this dude's sadness. And I love that the movie didn't do that. It's just this one little brief little interaction that he had that meant something, but he's not he can't replace his wife. And he was a man who just lived alone. And so was she. And there's so much of that in this movie that is, where a movie that's more concerned about just kind of making an audience feel okay would zig instead of zagging. And I think this movie is fine with being a little closer to how life really works. As Devindra said, it's unresolved. It's sad. There isn't much to it. There's no big climax. He gets that just exquisite moment at the end of seeing, this new technology that allows him to have a different perspective on the forest that he loved, and sort of has this epiphany of it's enough, like to bear witness to the world is its own reward, right? To have lived, to have loved, to have been through all of the things. I mean, I was bawling in that montage, and I usually hate that. I usually hate a movie that reminds me of the things I just watched for the last hour. Like, I got it. I just was here. I just did this. But
there's a tree with the shoe in it, and I'm like, why am I crying about this? Why?
I want to know how it reminded me of, when Peter Jackson talking about how they like planted Hobbiton 3 years before they started making Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's like, how the hell did they just achieve that boot in the tree?
Right. Yeah.
Incredible.
Or like a lot of trees are cut down during the course of the movie. I'm like, did they have to like time this with actual trees being cutting down? Right. Like, how do you get that footage? How do they do that?
And those are large trees too. So it's like, it had to be like planned.
They had strapped the camera to one when it fell.
Yeah.
A lot of impressive oneers in the movie, I would say. Really impressive filmmaking overall.
Oh, dude.
I like
the shot.
Movie...
Sorry, real quick. The shot when he gets off the train and the fire is in the background.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Ridiculous.
An incredible shot. Like, there's smoke in the air and people running around, and the camera does not linger on it. It just happens to catch the fact that there's this inferno in the distance. It's like, incredible.
I'd be really interested to know how they shot that. Like the whole fire sequence is really shocking. One thing we really haven't mentioned too is like, I think like ultimately regret is a big part of this movie. And like, this is a person who kind of like realized early on that the world is unfair and he does not know why it's unfair, but he also doesn't do anything about it. So the one like colleague he has, the one like Chinese rail worker that he's like, why are you guys taking him? And he didn't really do much to help. Turns out like
he helped them take him.
Well, he was trying to pick him up and like grab him, I think, but
seems like he was trying to help.
In the book, apparently, it is more straightforwardly, oh no, he threw that worker off the bridge. And he was also somebody like who had like anti-immigrant sentiment and like, complained about Chinese language, and they changed all that for the movie. I think for the better. I think like to make him a more curious person, a more emotionally curious person, I think that's just like a bigger change. Yeah.
I mean, I am not saying this derisively, but he is a woke character in the movie.
He is.
He is against all those other racist people, and also like actively open to like his wife's business ideas, and like, hey, like, like, and that's fine. Like, that's cool. I'm glad that we have depictions of that, in movies. I'm not sure how accurate to the time that is, but
how accurate cool. That would have been.
Yeah. I mean, I do appreciate that the movie is acknowledges that a lot of what built America, or a lot of what undergirds America, is racial violence, and doesn't really like go too much into that. But it's just kind of like, hey, FYI, we're not going to go through this time without at least acknowledging that a lot of that terrible stuff.
And
happens.
Also, that's happening now. Like people just abducting people off the streets, which was a thing that happens in this movie. I want to point people to a piece by Roxana Hodari, who wrote about Train Dreams is an argument against complicity. I think that's also a really interesting take on this movie too, because part of his regret is not doing much to save his friend, not really pushing back, not saying stop, not really fighting against what's happening. And he lives with that his entire life.
Yeah.
In addition to like what he loses from his family. And like, it is a reminder that we have these moments in our lives, and we will probably have many coming up over the next few years where you may have to make some choices about what you stand up for. And maybe you should stand for something, even if it's going to be scary. Yeah.
The movie also gives an explicit example of the opposite, right? That incredible sequence where they're all just sitting around and that dude walks up and is like, hey, is anybody this guy? And I'm looking for this guy. And then he just shoots him dead. And he's like, sorry, hey, he killed my brother. Wasn't going to stand for that. If anybody has a problem, let's deal with this right now.
I love the practicality of that.
Amazing. Amazing.
I love he's like, look, I don't want to spend the rest of my life looking over our shoulders, so like let's just
I've seen enough Coen Brothers movies. I know how this works.
Deal with this to be a Kill Bill situation.
Come on, guys. Let's just deal. We don't need to go to all that trouble. Let's just do it now. Let's get it over with.
Anybody? So. Bueller. But I also love how that shot, how that scene is shot, where it's locked down and you just see it all play out.
Oh, amazing.
They're just like having lunch.
Amazing.
Like, this guy strolls up, but like amazing sequence.
I watched the Murdochs at Death in the Family, I think is on Hulu. And then also I watched this, and I got to say, big week for Mark Brandanowitz from Parks and Recreation, played by Paul Schneider, who is also in this movie. He played the guy that gets shot in that scene.
Yeah.
So
I love that character, man. It's just the dude that won't shut up, and he's just, he found religion, but we find out that he was a piece of shit, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So good.
Any other thoughts on Train Dreams?
I don't want to think about how sad this movie is. Like, I just like, that's the thing. I will probably won't be revisiting because it is so sad.
I thought the movie would leave me in a very wistful, longing place. Yeah. Right. And instead, it was just very emotionally devastating.
The scene with the daughter potentially coming back or whatever that is.
God,
is that a weird sequence? Like, why even give that to him?
And it's like, did he dream the whole thing? Like, it's unclear. It's unclear. Right?
Yeah.
Utterly hard. And the fact that he would leave out food for the rest of his fucking life.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will slightly disagree with you guys. Of course, this emotionally ravaged me, but I did walk out of it. The sequence of him in the biplane is beautiful. It's beautiful, and it is wistful in a certain respect. It is. It is an appreciation. Like this life was brutal on so many levels.
Yeah.
And yet, where does he end it? He ends it in this moment of gratitude and recognition of beauty. Like I said, to bear witness, to just have lived, to just have had the gift of consciousness, to have experienced all of the things in this world that he saw. Like, I did feel a wistful positivity coming out of the movie that was like the beauty of like all of the hardship of life there's a beauty even to that.
Yeah. Well said. I got to say, I thought the very, very end, the final few shots were really beautiful.
Yeah.
Reminded me a lot of Darren Aronofsky's The Fountain. Actually, if you've seen that movie, the end of that film, spoilers for that movie, but that whole movie is about death being a part of life and being a part of the cycle that returns us back to the earth. And I got glimpses of that in these final shots when you see that the protagonist has passed away and has started to like become one with the planet again. Really, really powerful stuff. So
would have even been more powerful if it had been 16:9, but you know.
Did they go to Mozart and say you didn't use enough notes? They did. And that was the bad guy. And that was the bad guy in the movie. Anyway, at the end of the day, it is really impressive that Clint Bentley made a movie. Thank you so much for watching this video of the Filmcast. Check out these other videos that we have available, and be sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to get other videos from us in the future.
You can also go to thefilmcast.com to catch all of our audio podcast versions of all of our episodes.
And support this podcast at patreon.com/filmpodcast, where you can sign up for ad-free episodes and exclusive After Darks.
Thanks so much to everyone who makes the Filmcast possible.